Scoot over that way.
You can get the other chair. Where you can like sit on the frame table.
Just sit. Okay, so since last time, as you can tell, done quite a bit of cutting, quite a bit of fabricating, 3D scanned the whole car, and then just to get general dimensions of what we wanted to do for this rear half, because it's a wagon, so it's not really a traditional roll cage in that sense. So we kind of went with a sandrail pre-runner style rear end. So there's kind of just a floating rear half of the car. We got our front hubs in, our front spindles, so we're well on the track. And this is only about 6-7 days of actual work, because Kyle, my partner that's helping me do all this, he's been kind of sick since he got into town. So he did a lot of the math for all the bends, and then I did most of the TIG welding in the car. And yeah, it's turning into a monster. We obviously cut the whole front off as well, because we're front halving the car.
Oh, my favorite thing is the front bars I made, because I feel like a lot of people, when they do roll cages or tube chassis, they just go for the X's. They tie it into where the front bumpers go and stuff. But the way we did our front tube bars actually follows the old body line. Well, we're gonna have body panels on it, but it follows the body line underneath the panels. Especially with this car with its cool rounded front end. Like, I think keeping that shape in the tube chassis was critical in the way it looked.
So we bought a 2018 Ford Mustang rear end. In ordering that, I've worked with a Ford 8.8 before, but we didn't really realize that the new 8.8s are offset with the drive shaft into the pumpkin. So these mounts back here kind of are a little bit offset, but we still kept our center line for the whole car. You can see those axles down there are, yeah, as I said before, pretty long. So we're gonna cut those axles down, sleeve them, and re-weld them to be perfect for our application. And we ordered hub holding, we'll weld it to the table, and it'll hold the hub in place as we build the control arms for the car as well. Got those for the front and the rear. And you can see this crazy bend, this crazy top frame bend kind of mat is gonna be the new floor bottom for the trunk. And then that holds the diff, and then the lower hoop supports the diff from the bottom. There's still a couple more pipes we have to do back there, and then that rear hoop will create the frame for the fuel cell as well. We're gonna probably run a 15 to 17 gallon fuel cell on the back. So we started this whole frame off with our main hoop right here, because that kind of sets where your seats are gonna be and where you can start building your rear structure. And from there, we made the X obviously just to support everything, because everything comes off of this main hoop. And then from there, we bent this crazy shaped upper frame part. Just looks like a giant set of handlebars, essentially, when it was on the ground. And then that's what our top differential support comes off of for our side-to-side strength. And then to create our vertical strength, we made this lower hoop that mimics this upper. And then once you tie everything in, it kind of just locks that diff into place. This whole frame kind of has to have a little bit of flex in it just for the amount of torque we're looking to make. But as far as mounting it, I think it's a pretty good design for what we're doing. I think it'll work perfectly. So with these door bars, they're needed for strength. So even with the upper bar, we tried to push it as close to the body as we could with still being able to lift the body up to get our top welds. And then we have this door bar sweep up to the main hoop from where he's gonna be able to, the car is gonna be on the ground. So we aren't really worried about hiking your legs up over things. It's more of getting in the car comfortably. So our triangle starts right at the back of door for our structure to the front of the cabin. So yeah, as you can see, our upper door structure comes down here, connects to our main frame, our door bar connects, and then directly from the door bar, we triangle up to our front half. And as you can see with the curve of these front bars, it pretty well mimics the shape of the car because we're kind of going for a fully removable front end. And when that's removed, we'd still like to be able to have the headlights in the car, and we would like for it to still look somewhat factory, like as far as body lines go. And then on the driver's side, you can see that's the tire we're gonna be running in the front with our wheels. So when this thing airs out, it airs out tube frame to tire, which is exactly how we wanted it to be. So it can mimic shape, it holds stock fenders, it holds stock hood, and it still lays completely on the ground. The front structure is not done at all. We need our motor back, but it's at the motor builder right now, so we won't really have that for a while. We're trying to source a donor motor just for mock-up purposes. But the fact that it's a 4-cylinder VW motor mounted longitudinal, it shouldn't take up too much room. But we left this front clip in purely for the fact that we wanted to keep all of our alignments right for our hood and our fenders. So eventually that whole front, it'll be shaved down a lot, and then we'll have support bars going across to hold our intercooler and our radiator in place. All that's determined off of us getting the motor though. So we're kind of working on structure until we can work on driveline.
Oh, my name is Kyle Hausman. Well, I don't know. First of all, we're using not a high-end scanner. So it's a lot harder. Well, I don't know. I've never used a high-end scanner before, but I imagine those ones are a lot easier to use. But I mean, just a matter of the dots that everybody sees when you 3D scan are like the 3D scanner's way of measuring as you scan. So that's why you see all the dots in everybody's 3D scanning videos.
They're markers, right?
Yeah. And that's just a way the scanner tracks. But I mean, in this project, we pretty much only used the 3D scan to get an idea of what we wanted to do. That way we could just visualize everything beforehand. That way we didn't make a mistake and want to change it all around immediately. The 3D scanning stuff we could definitely use in other places and get like actual CAD designs from. But this first project with it was just to get an idea of what the cage was gonna look like in the car. What are we doing next? We gotta guess where the motor goes. Because we don't have one.
How does it feel to for us to finally build cars together?
Great.
It's kind of a long time coming, huh?
Oh, we're like the same. What do you mean?
Where do you want me?